Good evening, good people. It's your girl Nicole, and I'm coming to you live from the Beauty for Ashes room. Y'all know what day it is. That's right, it's Wednesday. I hope you all had a good and productive day today. I missed y'all on last week. It was the new year. So happy new year to you guys. I hope you brought in this new year with positivity and you left all negativity in 2024. It's a new year. Let's embrace who we are becoming. So, welcome to the 16th episode of season 3 of Home Speaks. It is the first episode of 2025. Whoop whoop. So, tonight I'll be coming from the topic purpose. Do you know yours? So let's just dive right in and see if we can unpack this topic. Now, if you follow me, then you know what's next. That's right, I gotta give you a definition. So, purpose is defined as the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists, right? It can guide your life decisions, it can influence your behavior, it can shape your goals, it can offer a sense of direction, and it creates meaning. For some people, purpose is connected to meaningful, satisfying work, and for others, their purpose solely lies in their responsibilities to their family, friends, their children, their jobs, and whatever else that they find near and dear, right? So, purpose is meaning in action. But in order for us to find our purpose or to be able to identify what that is, we first must believe in the God who gave it to us in the first place. I don't want y'all to miss that. But in the God who created us with purpose, because there's no way that you can believe in one without the other. So, having a purpose in life means having a sense of direction and meaning. It means knowing what you want to achieve and why it matters. It means knowing and understanding why you were created to be here. But unfortunately, not everybody knows what their purpose is. Sometimes it takes us a while. It took me a while. So don't feel bad if you don't know yet. And notice I said yet and not you just don't know. You don't know yet. It's coming. And sometimes we do know, but it depends on our level of connection with God to the amount that He will reveal to us. But believe it or not, everyone has a specific purpose to fulfill. God has a plan for each of us. He created a plan for us to grow, to experience different things, to live by faith, and to complete our given assignments and to live it out in purpose. So in the end, He can get the glory. So His plans give meaning and context for our lives, and we must seek Him first to find it. And sometimes if we're taking too long, because I took a long time to get there, He'll meet us where we are. And that should be shouting news for somebody. Because imagine you're in a standstill, you're stagnant, you're not moving. And God comes and meets you where you are. That's the kind of God that we serve. That is what He will do. All you got to do is ask, right? So, now y'all know I gotta bring Bible into it, right? I gotta draw from the Bible each time, right? So for example, let's talk about Moses. Now, there was a death order in place. A hit was put on Moses' life even before he was born. Can you imagine a death sentence placed upon your child who you haven't even given birth to yet? But because Moses had purpose, my God, in him even before he was born, he could not be killed. His purpose could not be denied even after he committed murder. And if y'all read the story, the backstory of Moses, he was a murderer, right? But his purpose still, even with that sin that he committed, his purpose could not be denied. There was purpose in him even when he protested it to God that, hey, I don't even think I'm good enough to do what you asking me to do. And some of us, we do that. We go to God, we're like, you sure you want me to do XYZ? Because I don't think I'm good enough to do that. If God sends you, you got to be so convinced that, okay, yes, I can, right? But even with all our excuses, because we have many, God still said to him, I got you. You can do this because I sent you. How many of you has he said that to? I know he said it to me. Go. I sent you. If he says go and tell the people, hey, I sent you, who can stop you? Who can stop you? See, too many of us are denying our purpose, dismissing our purpose, delaying our purpose because of how we feel about ourselves or how we see ourselves. But think about this. What if that midwife followed her instructions to the T to kill all the boys? What if Moses was never placed in that basket? Would we be talking about him? But we are, aren't we? Because it's in the Bible. We're talking about him because there was purpose in him. He was born into the very thing he was assigned to lead the Israelites out of, which was slavery. Imagine you being born into something you now got to go back and help people to get out of. But that is what purpose looks like. That is what purpose looks like. Think about the story of Paul. Saul, Paul, same person, right? Think about before his conversion, Paul was ruthless. He was on a mission to take as prisoners or even kill those who belonged to the way, which simply means people who believed in Christ. He was on a persecution campaign to take these people out, all based on his beliefs, right? What he believed was right. So Saul was on a mission, but he was not walking in purpose at that time. And that's how we are sometimes. We just lackadaisical, just going about our business, oh, la-di-da-di, do-do-do, blah, 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 and we're not paying attention. We're not focused, right? So we're not walking in our purpose at that moment, and that's how we are. We get so far gone and caught up into the world, into other things that we're not supposed to be doing, and then God has to come snatch us up. He has to come and get us. But one day, for Paul, there was an interruption, right? He experienced a divine intervention. Jesus had to get his attention because he was focused on the wrong thing. So he caused this bright light to shine around him where he couldn't see. And I hope y'all have read this story as well. But that's what Jesus must do to us sometimes to get our attention when we go astray. He must blind us from the things we're used to doing that we have gotten so comfortable in and pull us out of our comfort zone. And he also has to separate us from people so he can talk to us alone, and that way we can give him our full attention. So he gets us by ourselves so he can talk to us and give us directions. Same thing he did with Moses, right? And that's what he also did with Paul. Because remember, when Paul was on that road and that light came, the people that he was walking with didn't even see it. My God, they did not even know what had happened to him. But that moment was personal, it was private, and it was a personal encounter with Jesus. And that's what we should be asking for, striving for, thirsting for. That's what we need to have. We need to have those private moments with God where it's only us and him. Just you and him, where nobody else can hear what he's saying to you. Where nobody else can hear the instructions that he's giving you and telling you what you need to do, how you need to do it, how you need to plan and prepare for it. That should be a private moment. And that's what Paul had on the road to Damascus. Now, even though that had happened, even though Paul was ruthless, Jesus still gave him purpose. Jesus called him his chosen instrument. Can you imagine that? All the hell and chaos Paul was causing to God's people, Jesus still found him worthy for purpose. But before Saul could come into the understanding of what that truly meant, something else had to happen first. And this revelation came through Ananias. It came through Ananias' obedience to Jesus' instructions, even though he was reluctant to do it. He was like, man, you sure, Paul? Because ain't he the one killing us? Killing the Christians? So he was hesitant, he was reluctant, but he still obeyed God. So through Ananias' obedience, Jesus was able to reveal some things and pull out of Saul his true purpose. So imagine now, think about, do you see how someone's assignment can be attached to someone else's purpose? Ananias' assignment was attached to Paul's purpose being revealed. My God, think about that. Because if Ananias was disobedient, if he was disobedient or he didn't have a connection with God, a connection with Jesus like he did, would the revelation of Paul's purpose ever been revealed? Would Paul would have suffered the things of God if his purpose was not revealed? Would there have ever been a conversion? Would we even be talking about this man, Saul and Paul, right? Which, by the way, let me just clear that up. Paul is the Greek version of the Hebrew name Saul. That's just a little side note, a little quick little teaching there, right? But would we even be talking about him in the Bible if his purpose has not been revealed? I don't think so. I don't think so at all, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. But so tonight I have a few questions for those of you who are still listening. Whose purpose are you holding up? Who? Do you have an assignment that could lead to someone else's purpose being revealed and you're reluctant to move, or you just downright, I'm not doing it? Are you holding up your own purpose? Because we can get in our own way, right? Are you in your own way, or is it that you don't want to do the work? And if we tell the truth, some of us don't want to do the work, but we want the blessing of the purpose. Make that make sense. Or maybe you just don't think, like I was saying earlier, you don't feel that you're worthy of the purpose that God has given you. The purpose that you were born with. You know, sometimes we just need to have an on the road to Damascus moment, just like Paul did. When God shuts our carnal eyes to where we can't do anything until he's ready to reopen our spiritual eyes so we can see the revelation of who we are and what we're created to do, or what our purpose is for our lives. Listen, let me tell you, Paul didn't waste no time after that. You hear me? He did not waste any time. He got right on up. He got baptized and immediately went to preaching the gospel. That is what he was called to do. He was saved through which process he was called. He was saved for a specific purpose, but he couldn't walk in that purpose until he first believed it himself. If he had not experienced what he experienced on that road, he would still be killing Christians. And it's the same thing with Moses. But it goes back to what I said earlier. You cannot believe in a purpose for your life if you don't believe in the God that gave it to you. I need y'all to catch what I'm saying, because it goes hand in hand. But that's how we must be. When he gives it to us, when he reveals our purpose, we need to get up and run with it. We need to stop wasting time, because there's work to be done. There's no purpose that will ever be given to any of us that doesn't require some type of action. Purpose is an action word. And in Ephesians 2:10, and I'm reading from the New King James Version, and it says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." What? So you already knew. The word beforehand means he already knew. And when I say he, I'm talking about God. He knew ahead of time what he was going to purpose us to do. He was privy to the information before we even knew, before we were even born, before we were even thought of. It's us that get in the way. It's us that don't know, or sometimes we pretend to not know because what? We don't want to do the work. We don't think we're worthy. Or we're just fearful of knowing what it is. If we can handle it, if we can trust ourselves with it. But he is waiting for those moments to show up so we can come to him. So we can petition him, so we can ask him, Lord, what am I here for? Why have you created me? Why have you allowed me to live all these years? What is my purpose? The question is, do you want to know? Do you want to know? And while you're thinking about that, just keep in mind and believe that we all have a purpose. I can't stress that enough. We all have purpose. We all have a specific thing, just like Moses, just like Paul, that we're supposed to be doing. And if we don't know what it is, we need to go to God. We need to be talking to God. We need to be petitioning God. We need to be in prayer, asking him to reveal to us what our purpose is. Your revelation about your purpose will come if you seek God. He will tell you. So, what are you going to do when that happens? When that very special moment happens, when you are on the road to Damascus and here's that light, and then God plucks back the scales, he pulls back the scales and says, boom, this is what you are called to do. What are you going to do? What are you going to do when he tells you what it is? When he shows you what it is? What are you going to do about it? Will you aimlessly exist in this world like you're doing now? Doing or whatever you want to do? Talking however you want to talk? Living any kind of way? What are you going to do when he tells you? Or are you going to walk boldly in your God-given purpose to live? So ask yourself, what is your life saying on your behalf? On God's behalf. When you interact with people, is there any residue of God on you? Is there any evidence to show or to prove that you're living a purpose-driven life? And what I mean by that, think about this. If you and I are having a conversation, when the conversation is over and I walk away, will I be able to say, ooh, I felt God in that? Ooh, I can see God all over this person. Oh, that was God, a godly divine connection right there. What are they saying when they walk away after you're done talking to them? Is there any evidence that you serve God, that God lives within you? So, again, my last question. Will you aimlessly exist in this world, doing your own will, doing your own thing, doing whatever you please, doing whatever satisfies your flesh? Or will you walk boldly in your God-given purpose and live? Do you know your purpose? Good people, that is all I have for you on tonight. I pray that something has been said that will ignite a fire in you, that will motivate you to walk in your purpose or seek God for the answer. He's waiting on us, y'all. He is waiting patiently for us to say, okay, God, I'm ready. Show me what you got. Tell me what you got for me. Show me, and I will be obedient to do just what you called me to do, just what you sent me to do. What will you do? Live on purpose. Move in purpose. Show up in purpose. Be intentional on purpose. Do everything with purpose, all while walking in your purpose. I thank you all for listening. You all can follow me on my Facebook page, Home Speaks. You can follow me on my YouTube channel for my weekly Wednesday podcast and all things ministry under Nicole Holmes, Beauty for Ashes. You can follow me on Spotify for my weekly podcast, Home Speaks. You can also visit my website, Beauty for Ashes 8, that is the number 8.com, to purchase my book, Beauty for Ashes, The Story Behind the Breakthrough. or you can also find it on Amazon. And as always, good people, if nothing else, remember, you are appreciated, you are needed, you are valued, you are heard, and most of all, you are loved. And every day, not just yesterday, not only for today, and not hopefully for tomorrow, but every day you wake up, God will give you beauty for ashes. I'm your host, Nicole, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.